In the spring of 2011, in the quiet streets of Nantes, France, an entire family slipped into the shadows, without warning, without a sound. What was left behind was not just an empty home, but a chilling silence that stretched across the nation. This is not just a story of disappearance. It is a descent into darkness, the haunting mystery of the Dupont de Ligonnès family. "55 Boulevard Robert Schumann, a quiet street in a peaceful middle-class neighborhood of Nantes. Here lived the Dupont de Ligonnès family. Xavier, the aristocratic father, proud, soft-spoken and charming. Agnès, the devout Catholic schoolteacher. Their children, Arthur, 20 years old, Thomas, 18, Anne, 16, and Benoit, just 13. The children were good students. Arthur attended a private Catholic school. Thomas studied music in Angers. Anne and Benoit were pupils at the nearby La Perverie Sacré-Cœur. From the outside, they were perfect. Inside the house, though, the foundations were crumbling. Xavier's business ventures were failing. Debt swallowed them whole. Agnès confided in friends that Xavier was distant, sometimes cruel. She spoke of divorce, but appearances were kept intact, because for the Dupont de Ligonnès family, reputation was everything. In early April 2011, subtle warnings began to appear. Thomas missed classes at the university without explanation. Benoit and Anne stopped attending school. Agnès did not return to work. Neighbours noticed the family's shutters closed, the mail piling up. Then came the letters, handwritten and typed, sent to friends, family and schools. Signed by Xavier, they claimed the family had entered the United States Witness Protection Program. That Xavier was an undercover agent for the American DEA, that their lives were in danger, and they had fled, in secrecy, under government orders. The story was bizarre. It didn't fit. The family had deep roots in Nantes, generations old. Why would they abandon everything overnight? Whispers began. But by the time doubts turned into fear, it was already too late. On April 21st, police entered the home at 55 Boulevard Robert Schumann. Inside, the house was eerie, silent. Beds neatly made, dishes washed, family photos still carefully displayed. It smelled faintly of incense, as if someone had tried to purify the air. Then, in the garden, beneath the rear patio, the earth had been disturbed. Officers dug carefully. What they uncovered were 5 bodies, carefully wrapped in sheets and plastic, each placed side by side, along with the family's 2 Labradors. A Bible lay nearby, religious icons placed tenderly with the dead. Each family member had been drugged, possibly sedated, and then shot in the head with a .22 rifle while they slept. It was not a frenzied killing. It was methodical, calculated. One body was missing, Xavier's. Police quickly realized he had not been a victim. He was the orchestrator. Security footage traced his movements after the murders. Calm, methodical, driving south across France. On April 14th, Xavier was captured on camera withdrawing cash in Roquebrune-sur-Argent, a small town near the Mediterranean coast. He stayed in modest hotels, always alone, always paying in cash. At each stop, He left behind religious materials, a Bible, a cross. On April 15th, he parked his blue Citroën C5 outside a small budget hotel. Inside, he spent the night. Then, nothing. The car was later found abandoned. Xavier Dupont de Ligonnès, the prime suspect in the murder of his entire family, was gone. Where did Xavier go? One theory suggests he fled to Italy, blending into the crowds along the coast. Another claims he took refuge in a monastery, monks sworn to secrecy, hiding him under a new identity. Some believe he never left the country at all, that deep in the vast, untamed Massif des Maures forest near Roquebrune, he ended his life. And his body remains undiscovered to this day. And then, there are the darker theories, that Xavier was assisted by powerful contacts, hidden due to his aristocratic bloodline, that his family's murders were part of a ritualistic purge, echoes of religious fanaticism in the way the bodies were buried, icons placed, and prayers whispered. There are even reports, though unverified, that Xavier may have had links to secret societies, and that the murders were not simply personal, but part of something far bigger. Over the years, there have been countless alleged sightings. The casino in Nairy-le-Bain, a church in Switzerland, an airport in Glasgow. Each time, the leads collapsed into dust. In 2019, a man was arrested in Scotland after being mistaken for Xavier. DNA tests confirmed wrong man. Hope crushed again. Today, the Dupont de Ligonnès home stands deserted, shuttered, rotting, avoided by neighbours. It is a house steeped in unspoken dread, a scar on the landscape of a peaceful town. For many, the Dupont de Ligonnès case is a reminder. Evil often wears the face we trust most. It sits across from us at dinner. It smiles warmly across the garden fence. The horror of this case is not just in the killings, but in the silence that followed, the mystery that endures. Because somewhere out there, maybe in a monastery, maybe under another name, maybe buried in the woods, Xavier Dupont de Ligonnès still escapes justice. A ghost, a myth, a nightmare without an ending.